Welcome to the Holman Center for Indiana State against Illinois State, the Sycamores and the Redbirds on News Channel 2. Along with Chris Theobald, I'm Jason Penske. The Sycamores trying to end a two-game conference losing streak and will again be shorthanded without senior Marcus Howard. That means they'll need even more, if it's possible, from David Moss. Chris, it's hard to ask more of David since he leads this team in virtually every stat known to mankind.
Well, David Moss is going to have to find more ways to score tonight. But as the Sycamores' leading scorer, David's a marked man. Every single team coming out here is trying to find ways to take him out of the game. So Indiana State has to find some more balance and needed more guys to step up and find ways to score.
And don't be fooled by the Redbirds' 0-3 conference record. They lost in overtime at Illinois, followed that up with a one-point home loss to the undefeated Creighton Blue Jays.
They've had a tough week emotionally, taking Illinois on the road into overtime and then coming back and bouncing back against the first team, or the best team in this league. But Porter Moser, the first-year young head coach, was a tough, scrappy, hard-nosed player at Creighton back in 1990. His teams play the same way. Both teams have to play well tonight.
All right, it's ISU at ISU on News Channel 2. The opening tip-off is next.
This WTWO exclusive presentation of Indiana State Sycamore basketball is brought to you by Brazil Autoplex, Pepsi, Tato Business Forums, ISU Credit Union, Stoles Country Inn, Aegis Communications, Royce Motors, Bob Weaver Roofing, Indiana State University, and WTWO News Channel 2.
Hey ISU Sycamore fans and students, the staff at Royce Motors is ready to put you in your next car, truck, or minivan. Royce Motors will take the time you deserve with their on-the-spot financing and fully explain their ASC 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty program, complete with 24-hour roadside assistance. With over 30 years' experience, Royce Motors understands the car business. Stop in today at 1831 South 3rd Street in Terre Haute or call 235-2840.
ISU Credit Union now introduces CU Online Internet Banking. Go to www.isukreditunion.com and log on to CU Online for account access, check balances, transfer money, check account history, make payments, and much more. You can even download account information to Intuit's Quicken or Microsoft Money software. If you've never used Internet Banking before, check out our system by using our CU Online demo at the login screen. CU Online from ISU Credit Union, where you're always the only member in line.
NBC Monday is the hottest night on television, starting with the Fear Factor first. 9 couples.
I love you.
Competing for $1 million.
Holy cow!
Whose love is tough enough? Then, in all-new Las Vegas, Alec Baldwin guest stars as the boss's former protege.
We'll make a good team.
And an all-new Average Joe, too. Who will she choose this time?
It's insanely romantic.
Couples Fear Factor, Las Vegas, and Average Joe 2 Hawaii. All new NBC Monday.
Welcome back to the Holman Center, everybody, for the Illinois State Redbirds against the Indiana State Sycamores. Time now to take a look at the keys to victory for Indiana State. Bench scoring, very important tonight. As we talked about already, David Moss will need to play big, and the battle is on when it comes to the rebounding. Keys to victory for Illinois State. They need to defend the motion offense by Indiana State. They want to take away the three-point shot, and they, too, want to control the glass. Starting lineups for Indiana State: Russell Trudeau getting the start tonight. David Moss, the sophomore. Amani Donish, after missing the last game with an injury. We'll talk more about that. Tyson Schnitker and Jared Adler round out the starting 5. For Illinois State: Marcus Arnold, Greg Dilligard, Greg Alexander, Vince Green, and Trey Guidry. The conference standings: Creighton and Southern Illinois, both 3-0 and both in action tomorrow in conference play. The third member of our broadcast team is Jeremiah Johnson, standing by courtside.
Thank you very much, Jason. The official injury report on Marcus Howard: stress fracture in his femur. He's on crutches right now. We'll get off those crutches likely Monday or Tuesday. His status for the weekend's contest, 50-50. Amani Donish is in the starting lineup. He's wearing a pad on his broken rib. He cannot injure this anymore, so he just got to withstand the pain. We'll talk more about Amani's injury later in the telecast.
You certainly hate to see Marcus Howard missing time for Indiana State. He has played in and started so many games over the years for ISU, and now for Marcus to have to miss now 2 games in a row And this just two of what should be, unfortunately, many missed games for Marcus. What does his absence do?
Well, what it does, it takes away your number one defensive stopper, and when you don't have that guy in the lineup, all of a sudden now your whole defensive philosophy changes around how you attack teams, and it's become a problem, as you saw against Southern Illinois this past week.
The Sycamores started conference play with a thumping of Evansville, then went to Bradley, lost by 10, followed that up with a home court loss to a very talented Southern Illinois team, and here they stand tonight hosting Illinois State before a very difficult two-game road trip. This is Moss with the shot clock under 10. Into the lane, pump fake, the shot off the mark. Donish immediately already crashing the boards, making an impact for Indiana State.
A great sign from an injured Amani Donish, just to be able to get his hands on a board with a sore rib is going to be a big deal all night.
For those of you that have had injured ribs, you know exactly how painful it is. If you have not had injured ribs, you have no idea how painful it is.
Every time he takes a step, every time he takes a deep breath, anytime anybody bumps him or nudges him, it feels like you take a knife and jabbing it in your side.
And the Sycamore fans starting something tonight, standing until the Illinois State Redbirds score their first basket. So hopefully they'll be on their feet for quite some time. Guidry couldn't connect, and Donish commits the foul while trying to block out for the rebound. The Illinois State Redbirds, 4-game losing streak, the longest of Porter Moser's career. But man, you talk about a 4-game losing streak. One was in overtime at Illinois, another a 1-point loss, as we've already talked about, at home to Creighton.
His teams get after it. I mean, they play tough, aggressive man-to-man defense. He's going to spread the floor, try to dump it inside, and then he's got guys like Alexander that can flat out shoot it.
Yeah, 38% from behind the arc this year. Greg Alexander knocks down the three, and the Sycamore fans are on their fanny.
But as you see here in the defensive end, he's pushing guys way out beyond the three. He wants tremendous ball pressure, wants to get in guys and take Indiana State out of their offense and keep them uncomfortable.
And you talk about this Redbird team and talk about talent. They've got guys tonight that have started their college basketball careers at Wisconsin, North Carolina State, Missouri. So they are not just what you would call mostly mid-major players. They've played some minutes at some big-time schools.
Well, the question, you're going to see a gentleman come in here in a few minutes. Najib Eccles is his name. He's only been eligible for the last 3 weeks. He's a transfer from Missouri. He can play.
Missouri could probably use him this year the way they're playing.
He was at Missouri about a year and a half, played every game as a freshman, and transferred into Illinois State mid-year last year. That's why he's ineligible until December 13th when their fall semester ended.
3-0 Redbird lead on Greg Alexander's three-pointer. This is Guidry. Adler the rebound for Indiana State. Still looking for their first field goal, the Sycamores are.
Then you talked about in the open, Jason, balance. Moss is going to get bumped, kicked, pushed, knocked down. The other guys are going to have to find ways to step up and make plays and get some scoring.
Greg Dilligard, the freshman from LaBelle, Missouri, commits the personal foul. That's his first, the first against the Redbirds. Moss to throw it in. You hate to call, and I know Royce Waltman always says this, you hate to call any game crucial or important because if you don't win it, then what? But certainly staring a road trip of at Southwest Missouri State and at Wichita in the face, this is the game the Sycamores need to have.
This is a very, very important game for those obvious reasons. It's a chance to stop a skid and to prevent another one from going on. If you look at reversely, Illinois State's in the same position. They've got 8 of their next 9 versus the upper division in this league. So Porter Moser's looking for a win to try to snap his 3-game losing streak as well. So it's very, very important for both teams here to play well, but to find out some way, squeeze some way to get a win here.
Alexander commits the foul away from the ball. That's part of what David Moss brings to the table, the effort it takes during the entire spanning of the shot clock to guard him away from the ball, and Alexander picks up the foul. That's the second against the Redbirds. This is Gray, the freshman, getting his first start in the ISU uniform against Southern Illinois earlier in the week. Amani Donish knocks it down, his second straight field goal, although Jared Adler commits the foul, but the basket will count, and the Sycamores have their first lead.
You like to see that aggressive dive from the top by Jared, but again, just out of position. Jared Adler's played well as of late. He's been a big spark for this Indiana State team. He's scoring a little bit. He's been aggressive on the boards. He's guarding people.
This is Dilligard trying to get it underneath to Marcus Arnold. Arnold, the stud in the paint, commits the personal foul. Marcus Arnold is a guy that has just had so much success this season for the Redbirds. All of a sudden, their leading scorer.
He was on the all-newcomer team last year as a freshman out of high school. Was heavily recruited. Illinois State, Southern Illinois, Miami of Florida. There's some Big East teams in the mix on him. Great player up in Chicago.
Amani Donish with all 6 Sycamore points and a couple of rebounds to go with, and the Sycamores lead by 3. It's good to have him back on the court.
And now, a few minutes in this game, you know how much they missed him this last Wednesday night when Southern Illinois was here.
Green and Arnold play the two-man game. Arnold, who had 23 against Illinois, trying to get it to Dilligard. Gray has the pass stolen back, and here come the Redbirds.
Great hustle by Dilligard. Makes his way all the way down the court to get a hand on that pass. Donish had really run the court and was in position to make a big-time finish.
This is Alexander spinning out of control, and he commits his second personal foul already. Porter Moser not happy at all with that call. His second, though. Alexander definitely out of control as we take a timeout. Good start for the Sycamores, leading the Redbirds 6-3.
There's a new vanilla in town. Introducing Pepsi Vanilla. The perfect blend of cola and vanilla. That's not so vanilla.
How about a little Pepsi? Pick up the new 8-ounce cans, available now at all retailers in all flavors.
Terre Haute Ford is your zero-down, yes-you're-approved dealer in the Wabash Valley. Get a 2004 Ranger XLT with air, CD, and automatic transmission for only $237 a month, plus the award-winning Ford Focus, equipped, not stripped, for $198 per month. And experience a new breed of trucks with the all-new Ford F-150 for only $249. Terre Haute Ford has $40 million to loan. Call our credit hotline at 234-4831. This is not a lease. These are new cars. Approved credit? Yes, you're approved. Terre Haute Ford, US 41 South and Spring Hill Road.
Here are the top 10 reasons to check out Industrial Supply when considering your new bathroom or kitchen.
Convenient payment methods. Quality name brand products.
Competitive prices. Referrals to local licensed contractors.
Special ordering is available. Walk in or set an appointment.
Cash and carry or free delivery.
Friendly people. Personal service.
Experienced and knowledgeable staff.
Industrial Supply Company. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care.
We're back with the Sycamores leading the Redbirds 6-3. Just had a competition of the cheer teams in between the play and the stoppage of play, I should say, with the Sycamores leading it by 3. Royce Waltman getting great play early from Amani Donish. All 6 Sycamore points on 3-for-3 shooting and also hustling after the rebounds.
And that's the kind of play you expect out of him game in and game out. Like we talked about, you missed that Wednesday night against Southern Illinois. You expect it now and need it now tonight to have a chance. Indiana State has not rebounded the ball very well game in and game out, and that's a spot where Monty really shines.
Petrell Green into the game for the first time. Off the mark on the corner 3, and here come the Redbirds, still trying to get untracked offensively. 1 field goal in over 5 minutes of basketball tonight against the Sycamores. It was Greg Alexander's 3-pointer. This is Najib Eccles, number 33 in red, the player that Chris had mentioned started his career at Missouri. This is Cottrell playing the nice defense against Eccles, who saved it to Neil Plank. Vince Green, who can knock it down from outside off the mark, but the Sycamores couldn't grab the rebound, and the Redbirds retain possession. And you can see already the wincing going on by Amani Donish with the ribs.
There's pain involved right now for him, and he's just finding ways to suck it up and play. But again, every time he gets bumped or moved, he's going to feel pain.
Guidry from the corner, that's a three, and we are tied again, 6-all.
Guidry's a big-time three-point shooter. It's important for Indiana State not to let him get loose and get on track here. He can cause major problems from behind that three-point line. Played a bunch of games as a freshman at NC State, transferred in, had a good sophomore year last year for Illinois State. They're expecting big things out of him, and he's producing for them.
It's unbelievable when you look at the years and the ages of this Redbird team. They are one of the youngest teams in the conference. Schnitker banks it home off the glass, his first basket. First basket by anybody other than Amani Donish, and the Sycamores retake the lead.
Tyson's got his hands full tonight with Vince Green. Green, a senior, good athlete, really pushes the ball down the floor. Seems like every time out, Tyson's got some quickness he has to try to defend.
Well, there are always good guards in the Missouri Valley Conference. Schnitker commits the charge, trying to score for the second straight time down the floor.
As a freshman, those are the plays you'd like him not to make. Stop, pull up, hit that baby jumper, or kick and find a three-point shooter. In high school, you can get away with getting in that deep in the paint. You can make a play. The mid-major Division I college basketball, not going to happen.
Eccles. Jumper on the way by Chris Burris is off the mark, and Amani Donish corrals it after Schnitker tapped it to him. The Sycamores the ball and a 2-point lead.
Illinois State's traditionally played a lot of man-to-man, but Porter Moser will also throw some zone out here, so Indiana State can get on track offensively. You're going to have to expect a defensive change here eventually.
It was interesting to watch Neil Plank try and defend David Moss away from the ball. He did something just short of a headlock and a full Nelson, and finally got called for the foul. That's the 5th against the Redbirds in the first half.
Well, like we talked about, David's a marked man. The coaches coming into this league are saying, if we're going to beat Indiana State, somehow David Moss has got to be controlled. So he's getting pushed, kicked,
nice,
you name it.
Schnitker with a good find, but Donish couldn't convert.
Donish would like to have that one back.
Trudeau the steal after Vince Green lost it. So both teams struggling just a bit to find their groove offensively speaking. This is Trudeau. Picks up the dribble. Moss looking to get on track. Can't get it to go. Trey Guidry the rebound, and here come the Redbirds trailing by 2.
The officials are letting these teams play tonight. Very physical on both ends of the court. A lot of body checking, a lot of contact. Gonna have to play with some toughness.
Well, you can tell one of our keys to victory for Illinois State was to take the three-pointer away from the Sycamores. They are in Russ Trudeau's face. They know he can shoot it. We're well prepared tonight as we take a timeout. Under 12 to go in the first half, with the Sycamores leading 8-6.
Now through January 3rd, every brand new GM car, truck, van, and SUV at the Giant Brazil GM Autoplex will be sold direct to the public for just $1 over factory invoice. Plus, receive up to $5,000 in holiday cash or 0% financing still available up to 6 years. Plus, total used car blowout. Prices posted clearly on every windshield. So bring your dollars. Choose from the Valley's largest GM selection. Then collect your holiday cash up to $5,000. So better hurry and beat the January 3rd deadline during the Giant Brazil GM Autoplex year-end sale.
Only 15 miles east of Terre Haute.
Founded in 1907, the Missouri Valley Conference is the nation's second oldest intercollegiate athletics conference. Today, the Missouri Valley is comprised of 10 universities located in 6 Midwestern states and representing student enrollment of 125,000 and more than 750,000 alumni. The Missouri Valley Conference conducts championships in 18 men's and women's sports and is proud to have produced 13 NCAA team championships.
Hello, I'm Tom McClanahan from WTWO Television, inviting you to join me on a wonderful adventure to Switzerland, May 27th to June 4th. We'll fly to Zurich, enjoy 5 nights in the beautiful Lake Geneva region, and 2 nights in charming Lucerne. We'll also visit Italy and France. For your free WTWO Switzerland brochure, call Holiday Vacations toll-free at 1-800-826-2266. That's 1-800-826-2266.
Welcome back to Holman Center. Indiana State with an 8-6 lead. Amani Donnie started this contest and has played the entire way. He did not play Wednesday night against Southern Illinois due to a cracked bone in his rib. Now he's wearing a protective pad, very similar, almost exact to the one Dwight Freeney of the Indianapolis Colts wore earlier this season. It's an injury that Amani cannot re-injure himself anymore. He just has to be able to withstand the pain. The pad can hopefully help lessen the pain a little bit, Jason.
Well, we've already talked about the pain involved with injured or bruised ribs, and certainly Amani has made the most of that protective wear. He's got 6 to lead all scores, and the Sycamores have an 8-6 lead over the Redbirds. A year ago, it was perhaps the down point of the season. It came at the end of the season, but it was when Illinois State came to the Holman Center and really just thoroughly defeated the Sycamores 1 year ago.
You were very kind how you put that, Jason.
Well, I just know that was a game that certainly, as David Moss put it, made him look in the mirror and say, hopefully this will not happen again. As Russ Trudeau commits the offensive foul, he's off balance a little bit. That's his first.
You know, the book in Indiana State coming in this game is take the three-point shot away from them, and they have problems. So as you see Illinois State come out, they're really putting a lot of pressure at the three-point line, making them put the ball on the floor with dribble penetration. Russell Trudeau got a little too deep, drew the charge last time.
Ford was trying to get it inside to Najib Eccles. That was Dana Ford trying to get it to Eccles, and the Redbirds have 2 field goals in almost 10 minutes of basketball.
2 for 8 shooting with a pile of turnovers to go along with it.
6 turnovers for the Redbirds as David Moss will go to the free throw line. Still looking for his first points of the game. I wasn't lying when I said he leads the Sycamores in almost every stat known to mankind. Scoring, rebounding, assists, block shots, and steals.
Those are the 5 biggies. David Moss getting it done, only a sophomore. It's amazing to think that he's come this far, as good a player as he was last year. He's that much better this year. Almost to the point of becoming unguardable, meaning he shoots it well enough, he can take you off the dribble, he can post you. So again, he's got lots of guys running at him defensively, trying to take him out of the game.
2 for 2 for Moss, an 84% free throw shooter. He takes a breather. His former high school teammate Eric Gray replaces him. Our next broadcast on News Channel 2 is an Indiana State women's game. 1 week from tomorrow, Evansville against ISU. The ISU women with a tough loss today at Drake against a very good Lady Bulldogs team. And Marcus Arnold is officially untracked. His first basket, and he got fouled.
That's been a primary attack point for Illinois State, is trying to get that thing deep in the box. Marcus Arnold finally gets it down there, gets himself on track with a nice finish. Very good player, just a sophomore.
Can't convert, but he gets his own rebound and then traveled. And now Jared Adler takes the breather. Deron Evans, number 2 in white, checks in for the first time today for Indiana State. Trudeau fading away. Somehow Schnitker went up and brought it down like a wide receiver. Neil Plank doing a great job on Trudeau as he can't even get an open look. Eric Gray off the mark. Arnold the rebound. This is Guidry up top. Plank, who started his career at Wisconsin. And Chris Burris with a basket and one. He'll go to the free throw line with a chance to give the Redbirds their first lead since it was 3-0.
Chris Burris getting some work done on the offensive glass. Great hustle to track that rebound down. Nice strong finish. Both these teams have struggled on both ends of the floor rebounding the basketball, but guys are out there trying to hustle and make some things happen. Burris getting it done on that end of the floor.
Wilford Antoine into the game for the first time today for Indiana State. He, along with David Moss, are in. Russ Trudeau and Tyson Schnitker are out. We'll talk more about Wilford Antoine at halftime tonight during the halftime show.
Off a made free throw, Illinois State showing a 1-2-1-1 zone press look. Just trying to force a little more pressure on the Indiana State guard tandem.
This is Deron Evans. Tremendous athletic ability. Setting the screen is Evans for David Moss, who very wisely got the defender to leave his feet, and David Moss will shoot 3 free throws.
Big time headsy play by David Moss. Recognized defender off his feet, gets a shot fake pump, heaves up a shot attempt. Now the best part of this, Jason, he gets to go to the free throw line and rest, try to make 3 free throws. Great players find ways to get to the free throw line.
It's been amazing, especially throughout the early portion of this season when Moss was scoring big, how he could score big totals without shooting a lot of field goal attempts.
You look at a lot of successful players, the Paul Pierces of Boston, those kind of guys, you look in their stat line at the end of the night and they're 20 for 21 from the free throw line, and not very difficult to score 28, 30 points when you get to that charity stripe as often as they do.
No, a moment ago he was 0 for 3 with 0 points. Now he's 0 for 3 from the field, but Moss has 5, and the Sycamores lead by 2. Inside, this is Arnold over Ted Morris, and Morris commits the foul.
Great footwork by Arnold on that low post move. Ted Morris did a great job at getting him off the box, keeping him away from the basket. Arnold does a great job on that catch on that drop step and pivot move, creating some space and getting that shot off.
Arnold now 1 for 2 from the free throw line, averaging 15 points a game. Almost shoots a free throw shooter. But he gets both on that trip, and we are tied again, 13 apiece. Neither team can get too far ahead of the other one.
Illinois State finally the last several possessions has found a way to get that ball down that block. If they can get Arnold on track here offensively in that low block, Indiana State's going to have some problems.
David Moss with a tremendous touch pass to Ted Morris, who's on the board. And ISU has the lead again at 15-13. This is Burris. Nothing else going on. Evans got a piece of it after Burris turned and fired.
John Evans making some plays, trying to get some more time.
Eric Gray, the freshman, for 3. And the Sycamores have the biggest lead of the game at 18-13. A 7-0 run for Indiana State. So the Sycamore fans are on their feet as we take a peek. Our next ISU men's broadcast Sunday, January 25th, a tough challenge that'll be, but it's a Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. as Indiana State travels to a building that has, quite frankly, not been very, very good to them.
Not a lot of fun to play at Southern Illinois.
Southern Illinois undefeated in league play. Creighton undefeated in league play. No more. You look at those two teams, they've lost so many. Kyle Korver, gone from Creighton. Kent Williams, Jermaine Dearman, gone from Southern Illinois. Standings, Southern Illinois and Creighton, 3-0.
Doesn't seem to change much at the top of this league year in and year out. Those are two awfully good programs.
Dana Ford rejected by David Moss. Eccles got it. Gray helping out on the double team, and it's out of bounds to Illinois State. It's going to be fun to watch Eric Gray improve because his offensive game is already here.
He's got deep range as a three-point shooter, and he's fearless.
Marcus Arnold, as the shot clock is at 5. Vince Green, nothing else available, so he threw it up there, and not a good offensive possession by the Redbirds. It was a good defensive possession for the Sycamores. As we take a timeout, the Sycamores continue to lead the Redbirds 18-13 with under 8 to go in the first half.
What makes a college the right fit for you?
For me, it's Classrooms Without Walls.
A chance to have an impact on their lives.
Nationally recognized degree programs.
A place to explore your future with professors that want to help you get there. Majors for a high-tech world.
Learning from those who teach Indiana's best. Scholarships and financial aid to help you pay for it.
I'm more than a note taker. I'm writing my own flight plan.
Indiana State. Log on and see how it fits you.
Here are the top 10 reasons to check out Industrial Supply when considering your new bathroom or kitchen.
Convenient payment methods. Quality name brand products.
Competitive prices. Referrals to local licensed contractors.
Special ordering is available. Walk in or set an appointment.
Cash and carry or free delivery.
Friendly people. Personal service.
Experienced and knowledgeable staff. Industrial Supply Company. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care.
Your Super Chevy dealer is closing out 2003 with super savings on everything. From the Chevy Cavalier to the Chevy Malibu, a great family sedan, and the all-new Chevy Trailblazer to the luxurious Chevy Suburban. Your Super Chevy dealer 2003 closeout with financing options to fit your budget and super service after the sale. That's your Super Chevy dealer.
Hi, I'm Bud Thompson, the Super Chevy dealer in Bicknell, Indiana. Come and see us today for a super deal. Welcome back to Holman Center. ISU with the lead over ISU. That's Indiana State over Illinois State. Now, earlier today, the Lady Sycamores took on Drake at Drake. Second half of a tough two-game road trip. ISU loses to Drake 75-52. The Lady Sycamores lost to Creighton earlier in the week, so they will return home 2-2 in conference play. They return home Friday to take on Southern Illinois.
Well, all right, so a tough road trip for the ISU women, but of course the eternal optimist would tell you that a year ago when they won the conference championship, they also lost at Drake and also lost at Creighton. So all is perhaps not lost, although they'd much rather have gotten one of those wins.
Always strive for a split in those weekend road trips, if at all possible.
Moss to Bird Antoine. And it is almost kicked out of bounds, but Dana Ford, did a nice job of running it down.
Suggestion out of the timeout there. Illinois State changes up, goes a little zone at Indiana State.
Plank underneath to Marcus Arnold. Back to Plank. Arnold has been unable to get anything going offensively. He does have 4, but it's just not been a very comfortable 4.
Ted Moore's doing a nice job keeping Arnold off the block. He's got him a step or two off that low block. It's difficult for him to get in and get comfortable. Find any good low post position.
Arnold underneath to Eccles, knocked away. although unfortunately Moss was stepping on the line. Amani Donish and Russell Trudeau in for ISU. Ted Morris with some nice work takes the breather, as does Eric Gray.
Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on, Kyle. Hang on. Hey, walk you out.
The Redbirds continue to struggle from the field. Just 4 for 15. Got to give credit to Indiana State's defense. Their man-to-man defense has been awfully good here this half in terms of intensity. They've done a good job keeping those guards for Illinois State pushed out beyond the 3. They've kept them uncomfortable. Illinois State can't get into any rhythm and can't get that ball down on that low block where they can try to find any success. Good job, Indiana State.
And the Redbirds are in some foul trouble. Trey Guidry with 2, Greg Alexander with 2. Both those guys are on the bench. You talk about that, Alexander scoring 7 a game, Trey Guidry over 15 a game, and neither one is in the game right now. Arnold, from almost an impossible angle, came close to getting that shot to fall, but he will go to the free throw line.
Great drop step, great position to even get that shot off. Monty Donish has his hands full down there against Arnold. Nice looking young sophomore for the Redbirds.
And he's now hit his last 3 from the free throw line. Coming off his first career double-double against the Creighton Blue Jays. 12 points and 12 rebounds in a 1.56-55 Illinois State loss.
So the Redbirds are seeing visions of a young Rico Hill in Arnold. Rico Hill, player of the year in the league several years ago. Awfully good player out of Chicago as well.
They won multiple championships.
Yes, they did.
Cottrell Green gets his shot to fall from the corner. The Sycamores lead again by 5 at 20-15.
How can we forget the coach of those multiple championships for the Redbirds, Kevin Stallings. Now has his undefeated Vanderbilt Commodores climbed into the top 25.
Yeah, he's done a wonderful job at Vanderbilt. Not exactly a typical hotbed for Southeastern Conference hoops, but they are playing well.
It's got a little tough test today, though. They are taking a squad into Rupp Arena.
I think that qualifies as a toughie.
W. Smith and the Kentucky Wildcats will probably have their way against the Commodores tonight.
We are nearing the 5-minute mark, and the Sycamores holding a 5-point lead flanked into the lane. This is Arnold to Vince Green, who buries it. His 9th three-pointer of the season, and the Redbirds are within 2.
Illinois State staying in that 2-3 matchup zone. They're forcing quick shots out of Indiana State. But it's okay if the quick shots go in. Russell Trudeau, big-time 3 at the top.
That's a nice answer. And that's another one of the guys who can just flat out shoot the ball, Trudeau. And of course, we got to mention that in the near future, a guy that can also shoot the ball, Logan Whitman, will be wearing the Sycamore uniform. As Arnold turns and shoots it over Ted.
Arnold's getting some work done against 6'10" Ted Morris. That was a big dime drop step junk hook. Nice finish inside. Great touch by the big fella.
Moss to Cottrell Green along the baseline. He traveled. And so with under 4 minutes left, we're going to take a timeout. The Sycamores 23, the Redbirds 20. ISU trying to end a 2-game conference losing streak.
There's a new vanilla in town. Introducing Pepsi Vanilla, the perfect blend of cola and vanilla. That's not so vanilla.
How about a little Pepsi? Pick up the new 8-ounce cans available now at all retailers in all flavors.
At Tabco Business Forms, we're growing to meet your needs. Tabco has been a part of the Wabash Valley for over 20 years, and we've been known for our business printing. But did you know Tabco is now your best source for copy jobs and manuals, direct mail imprinting and mailing, barcode labels and supplies, ribbons and toner, promotional products, silkscreen printing, corporate apparel and embroidery. These are just a few of the reasons Tabco is your best single source for all your printing and promotional products.
Hi, I'm Brian Dorsett from Dorsett Mitsubishi. If it's time for a new car purchase or a quality pre-owned vehicle, it's time to catch a Dorsett deal. At Dorsett Mitsubishi, we've committed to bring you the best in service, the best in quality, and the best value for your dollar. Whether it's a tax sale, anniversary sale, or simply the boss's darn sale, I personally assure you that if you catch a Dorsett deal, you'll experience the Dorsett difference. The difference is a service guarantee with trained and certified staff that can't be beat. So ask around about the Dorsett difference. Come on by and catch a Dorsett deal, US 41 South in Terre Haute.
We are back at the Holman Center. The Apprentice tonight at 9 p.m. only on News Channel 2. Donald Trump. You can see exactly how ruthless he is when people try and apply for or to become his apprentice. That is tonight only on News Channel 2. He's not a nice guy.
Doesn't claim to be a nice guy. That's why he's a multi-millionaire.
Yes. Okay, that works.
And Coach Waldman's got to be fairly pleased here in the first half with the defensive effort.
Dana Ford for three. Arnold the rebound.
Indiana State's done a nice job here in the half-court defense. They've been good pressure on the ball. They've really kept Illinois State uncomfortable.
Kevin Trock, number 10 in the game for the first time, was trying to get it to Marcus Arnold. Moss thought it went out off the Redbirds, but Illinois State will retain possession. Of course, there's a couple of Sams playing in tonight's game. Jake for Indiana State and Michael for Illinois State. Both, of course, played high school ball at Mount Zion. Neil Plank, the brother Sam. Neil Plank, also for Illinois State, played at Mount Zion. And, of course, the Sycamores have already signed a current senior from Mount Zion. Dana Ford was skying to try and tap that thing home. He couldn't get it to go, but boy, he had some serious ups.
Dana Ford, the high flyer, getting up there to get that rebound. Illinois State goes back to man-to-man. Dana Ford's got the job of chasing David Moss all over the place. The Redbirds do a great job with defensive ball pressure as well.
And the Sycamores really get bailed out there because Moss was pinned in along the baseline with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, was trying to throw a skip pass, and the Redbirds commit the foul. And so Moss, who's 5 for 5 from the free throw line tonight, goes to the free throw line as they dodge kind of a bullet that possession, as they, with a pretty good chance, Sycamores, of getting something when they could have had nothing.
The great court awareness, David Moss. He's starting to figure this whole thing out as a floor leader and a floor general, realizing shot clock's down. Let me go try to get to the free throw line, get something off a dribble, and draw the foul.
Moss with 3 straight games of not reaching double figures, the first time since January that's happened, last January, that is. And what better way to kind of get on track than to go 6 for 7 from the free throw line like he has done tonight. So he's got 6 to lead the Sycamores along with Amani Donish, and it's a 4-point Sycamore lead over the Redbirds. Backdoor feed to Dana Ford. Nice pass from Burris.
Great cut, great feed. The back door was open.
Ted Morris working hard, demanding the ball against Dilligard. Right-handed jump hook, no. Cottrell Green trying to keep it alive. But it's Vince Green that runs it down.
Tough couple possessions here for the Sycamores. Illinois State now is starting to read that defensive pressure and applying those backdoor cuts, trying to make something happen.
And now a foul away from the ball. Cottrell Green commits the foul. Team's ninth. And Chris Burris is going to go to the free throw line, the 6'5" sophomore from the Chicago area. 78% free throw shooter. Thankfully, it wasn't their 10th, so this will be 1-1 for Burris.
Amazing to think both these teams here, Indiana State, Illinois State, how many players from the Chicago area, not only on this team, but are currently on the floor.
Gets the first to go, and Burris with this free throw could tie the game at 24. And he does. We're right where we were about 18 and a half minutes of basketball ago.
Illinois State's done a great job for the last 6-7 minutes clawing back into this lead. They're on a 10-3 run here the last 4 or 5 minutes to get this thing tied again.
Shot clock at 10. Under a minute to go in the first half. Morris against Dilligard to Bird Antoine in the lane. And Wilford knocks it down. Gives the Sycamores a 2-point lead.
Tough shot, Bird Antoine. Created some space with that step back and then pulled up and drills a nice jumper. Illinois State still patient. They've got time here. Trying to get that situation isolated down there in that low block.
Dana Ford for a three. Morris the rebound. The shot clock is off. That's not the shot the Redbirds were going for. And so barring something kind of crazy, ISU will have the lead at the half. Moss against Ford. Over Ford. Can't get it to go. Moss and Waltman wanted a foul as David went up for the shot as we look at Royce Waltman. And the Sycamores with a 26-24 lead at the half over the Redbirds as Royce waits for the explanation as we take another peek at the final shot. Low trajectory, not much arc. The Sycamores thought he got fouled, and our Jeremiah Johnson standing
into this game.
Well, I don't know if we put much pressure on them at all, but we really defended in the post and helped in the post and didn't give them easy baskets.
What will be your message to the team for the second half?
Well, just got to, a lot of times when you get down in front of the other team's bench, you don't have that sustained defensive effort without this encouragement, and we just got to do it again in the second half.
Thanks a lot, Coach. 26-24, Indiana State with the lead as we go to halftime.
In today's economy, Royce Motors understands that good people face difficult financial times that may affect their credit. Royce Motors also believes they can help rebuild your credit with their Buy Here, Pay Here service, regardless of bankruptcies, repossessions, or wage garnishment. They offer a complete line of cars, trucks, and vans, all with an ASC 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty with 24-hour roadside assistance. Visit Royce Motors today at 1831 South 3rd Street and start rebuilding your credit today.
What makes a college the right fit for you?
For me, it's Classrooms Without Walls.
A chance to have an impact on their lives.
Nationally recognized degree programs.
A place to explore your future with professors that want to help you get there.
Majors for a high-tech world.
Learning from those who teach Indiana's best. Scholarships and financial aid to help you pay for it.
I'm more than a note-taker. I'm writing my own flight plan.
Indiana State. Log on and see how it fits you.
We are back at the Holman Center where Indiana State has a 2-point, 26-24 lead over the Illinois State Redbirds. Chris Theobald, we watched some of the halftime entertainment here at the center court on the at the Holman Center. Amani Donish really came out right away, scored the first 6 points of the ball game for the Sycamores, and gave this team not only a scoring lift, but just his usual hustle was still there.
Oh, absolutely, and it's very, very important here at the start of this game to get a spark, to get a lead, to get some confidence. As we talked about, when you're in the midst of a couple-game losing streak, and now with a tough couple road games coming, this game here at home is very, very important to get some confidence back, get a win, get the ship righted a little bit. Monty stepped up big early, big plays, big boards, got us out in front.
And, of course, we talked right off the top, Chris, about how David Moss, without Marcus Howard, would have to do even more than he normally does, and he normally does everything. Moss getting it done at the free throw line. No field goals, but he does have 6 points, 6 for 7 from the line.
Done a great job finding other ways to get himself involved in the offense. Guys are pressuring him, beating him up, holding him, tackling him, everything else. He's going to have to find out when he gets the ball to create some space. If he can't get a shot, draw a foul, get the free throw line, shoot free throws.
So 6 for Moss, 6 for Donish, and 26 for the Sycamores, who lead the Redbirds 26-24 at the half. More of the halftime show to come after this timeout. You're watching ISU basketball on News Channel 2.
Now through January 3rd, every brand new GM car, truck, van, and SUV at the giant Brazil GM Autoplex will be sold direct to the public for just $1 over factory invoice. Plus, receive up to $5,000 in holiday cash or 0% financing still available up to 6 years. Plus, total used car blowout. Prices posted clearly on every windshield. So bring your dollar. Choose from the Valley's largest GM selection. Then collect your holiday cash up to $5,000. So better hurry and beat the January 3rd deadline during the giant Brazil GM Autoplex year-end sale.
Only 15 miles east of Terre Haute.
The best All-Star restaurant in the Valley is in Linton, Indiana, at Stowe's Country Inn. Stowe's Country Inn has all your favorite menu items, plus lunch and dinner buffets from 11 to close, with a breakfast buffet on Friday and Saturday at 7. On Wednesdays, kids under 12 eat free, and all seniors receive 10% off for lunch Monday through Friday. Stowe's offers catering with banquet rooms to meet any need. And don't forget Seafood Fridays. With fresh baked breads, cakes, pies, and cinnamon rolls, there's no reason why you shouldn't.
Make that itty-bitty fly to Stowe's Country Inn.
For the best in roofing, call Bob Weaver Roofing. With 35 years roofing experience, Bob Weaver Roofing is your residential roofing specialist for all types of roofs and guttering systems. Bob Weaver Roofing also specializes in re-roofs, tear-offs, and new roof construction. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, as well as being an outstanding member of the Better Business Bureau. If it's lasting beauty with minimal maintenance you're looking for in your roof, call Bob Weaver Roofing and let him turn your house into the home of your dreams. Call Bob Weaver for your free estimate at 466-1472.
ISU Credit Union now introduces CU Online Internet Banking. Go to www.isukreditunion.com and log on to CU Online for account access, check balances, transfer money, check account history, make payments, and much more. You can even download account information to Intuit's Quicken or Microsoft Money software. If you've never used Internet Banking before, check out our system by using our CU Online demo at the login screen. CU Online from ISU Credit Union, where you're always the only member in line.
There's a new vanilla in town. Introducing Pepsi Vanilla. The perfect blend of cola and vanilla. That's not so vanilla.
How about a little Pepsi? Pick up the new 8-ounce cans, available now at all retailers in all flavors.
Welcome back to the Holman Center, everybody. Indiana State with a 2-point 26-24 lead over the Illinois State Redbirds. You know, it's a fairly small senior class this year for the Sycamores. Marcus Howard has been here all 4 years. Meantime, Cottrell Green and Wilfred Antoine also in their last years in the Sycamore uniform. Green and Antoine both came to Indiana State via the JUCO route, and we've got an inside look right now at the player, the guys on the team, called Bird.
ISU senior point guard Wilfred Antoine is a New Orleans native who didn't have much trouble making the trek to the Hoosier State last year.
It wasn't too tough to come here because, I've been in Kansas for 2 years. I've been at home. I already knew how it was to be away from home, so I was used to it. So coming to Indiana State wasn't going to bother me at all.
Having spent 2 seasons at the junior college level, Antoine notices the differences between JUCO play and the rougher Division I play.
D1, man, it's a lot more competitive. The guys are more physical, guys jumping high, and as far as like practice and stuff, practice is more intense and it's just wear on your body, you know. I think it's probably a little longer, but it's more physical in D1.
Wilfred, better known to many simply as Bird, has his own personal goals this season.
Main thing, I just want to take care of the ball, you know. I don't want to turn it over too much and just go out there every game and give it my best, you know, just play my hardest each game. Try to play each game like it's my last game.
Like many people around the Sycamore program, Bird has realized that when the post players get going, it takes a lot of pressure off the backcourt players.
The post players, if that increase and get better, you know, that's going to take a load off the guards, you know. As far as like David, take a lot of scoring off and, you know, a lot of pressure off him. So them guys doing good down low is going to be kind of hard to guard us, you know, out on the backcourt.
Antoine has worked extremely hard to improve this team and believes in his teammates.
I think this year is going to be a lot better than last year because guys work hard every day in practice, you know, and the guys on these teams are not willing to give up, you know, they're going to fight no matter what.
Bird is happy with life as a Sycamore and lays it on the line for his team every time.
Well, hey, I think obviously it's somewhat of a tough situation. You look at the way Bird has handled it just beautifully. I mean, you've got a freshman coming in Tyson Schnitker starting ahead of the senior, so what a job mentally and physically by Wilfred Antoine.
Oh, you mentioned a tough situation for the senior, but a credit to him and his character. You know, Tyson Schnitker comes in to start, but he still stays tough, focuses, and tries to find ways to help his team, and that's what you want in a true teammate. Great job by Bird Antoine.
That's right, and also had the go-ahead basket for the Sycamores, who lead it 26-24. Here at halftime, the halftime show rolls on after another quick timeout.
There's a new vanilla in town. Introducing Pepsi Vanilla, the perfect blend of cola and vanilla. That's not so vanilla.
How about a little Pepsi? Pick up the new 8-ounce cans available now at all retailers in all flavors.
You don't do nothing. You don't want that, yo. Don't want that, yo. Ain't nothing funny about you. Keep it real and do what you feel. Yeah. You gotta eat Rally.
Here's a burger you don't see every day. Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents. That's Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents.
You gotta eat Rally.
This is the WTWO Community Calendar, sponsored by iMart. The 14th and Chestnut Community Center will be holding a Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, January 15th at 6:30 p.m. Oregon Baptist Church will host their annual Soup and Bread Luncheon, January 18th after morning service. Proceeds benefit the Youth Activities Fund. Send your community events at least 2 weeks in advance to the address on your screen or submit them at WTWO.com.
Hey ISU Sycamore fans and students, the staff at Royce Motors is ready to put you in your next car, truck, or minivan. Royce Motors will take the time you deserve with their on-the-spot financing and fully explain their ASC 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty program complete with 24-hour roadside assistance. With over 30 years experience, Royce Motors understands the car business. Stop in today at 1831 South 3rd Street in Terre Haute or call 235-2840.
Welcome back to Holman Center ISU with a 2-point lead. Standing by with a very familiar face to basketball fans in the Wabash Valley, Ron Felling, former IU assistant, Lawrenceville head coach. You led Lawrenceville to 4 state titles, back-to-back state champ, 68-0. What's it like being back in this area?
Well, I tell you what, that's been a long time ago, Jeremiah, but I appreciate being back. I came here back there. I coached with Royce at Indiana, and as usual, Royce doesn't have the most talented team, but he'll guard you. And it's good to be back. I haven't been back in this gym since I got a chair they gave me for a distinguished alumni, which that's way out of kilter, too.
You're living in Hot Springs, Arkansas right now. What's the difference, the biggest difference from when you coached with Royce at IU to maybe now in college basketball?
Well, I'll tell you, it seems to me some of the fundamentals have left the game. I don't think people shoot as well as they used to. Obviously, I don't think the game is as disciplined. and as you can watch the pros, I think has a big impact on the college game. But I like the way these two teams are playing. They're not running with the ball and throwing it out at the end of the gym, and at least they're playing basketball, which I like.
Thanks, Ron. Good to see you. Ron Felling, Mr. Lawrenceville right here. He's going back to Arkansas in a couple days. We'll be back with the rest of the halftime show after this timeout.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
ISU Credit Union now introduces CU Online Internet Banking. Go to www.isukreditunion.com and log on to CU Online for account access, check balances, transfer money, check account history, make payments, and much more. You can even download account information to Intuit's Quicken or Microsoft Money software. If you've never used Internet Banking before, check out our system by using our CU Online demo at the login screen. CU Online from ISU Credit Union, where you're always the only member in line.
WTWO and Aegis Communications Group have teamed together to recognize the achievements of local youth in the Wabash Valley. Young Inspirations, a weekly news feature that seeks out kids whose effort, hard work, or simple act deserves to be recognized. If you know of a child K through 12 who deserves to be nominated, stop by Aegis Communications Group in the lower level of the Meadows or visit our website at WTWO.com and look for the Young Inspirations logo on the main page. Aegis Communications Group, Young Inspirations is a feature every Monday on News Channel 2 Today and live at 5.
Now through January 3rd, every brand new GM car, truck, van, and SUV at the giant Brazil GM Autoplex will be sold direct to the public for just $1 over factory invoice. Plus, receive up to $5,000 in holiday cash or 0% financing still available up to 6 years. Plus, total used car blowout. Prices posted clearly on every windshield. So bring your dollar. Choose from the Valley's largest GM selection. Then collect your holiday cash up to $5,000. So better hurry and beat the January 3rd deadline during the giant Brazil GM Autoplex year-end sale.
Only 15 miles east of Terre Haute.
It's time to make your home work for you. For a limited time at First Financial Bank, you can get a rate as low as 3.5% APR on a First Preferred Home Equity line of credit. Use it anytime to consolidate bills or remodel the house. The options are yours with no closing costs or annual fees. You can even use it to pay property taxes. Stop by any First Banking Center and talk to the people you know who are always close to home. First Financial Bank, an equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We are back at the Hallman Center, where the Sycamores have a 26-24 lead. As we take a look at the first half stats, Chris, what sticks out in your mind?
That you'd expect a close game to have close stats, and it's no different here. I think a big concern of the number of turnovers for Illinois State. I'm sure Porter Mosier has addressed that at halftime. Looking individually, they've done a nice job on David Moss, keeping him to 6 points. But Marcus Arnold has 9 and 5 boards in the first half. Illinois State's going to keep pounding that thing on the block.
Let's go ahead and show you some of the first half highlights. We already talked about it. Amani Donish getting the Sycamores off to a great start. 6 early points for ISU. And then, aside from his great play, David Moss getting it done, not just with his scoring. He was 6 for 7 from the free throw line, but a great pass right there to Ted Morris.
Moss continues to find ways to keep his teammates involved, and that's very, very important. Again, as they take him out of the game, he's got to get these other guys got to find a way to score. He can certainly help that by great passing and distributing that basketball.
Wilford, Bird, Antoine knocking down that long two to give the Sycamores a 26-24 halftime lead. Tyson Schnitger, Eric Gray, David Moss, Amani Donish, and Jared Adler will start the second half for Royce Waltman's team. A couple of guys for Illinois State back out onto the court who did not see much time in the first half. Trey Guidry and Greg Alexander both got 2 early fouls, so it'll be nice for the Redbirds to have those 2 guys out there. Alexander, an early 3, just off the mark, but Dilligard, with the rebound for the Redbirds.
Illinois State an uncustomary 32% from the field in the first half. Porter Mosier's got to feel good only being down 2 and not shooting the ball very well.
Dilligard, this is Guidry, guarded by Moss. Over Adler, can't get it to go, and then he commits a loose ball foul on the rebound. Nice defensive possession, I should say, for the Sycamores to start the second half.
Dilligard's going to be a nice player, just a freshman. Indiana State's done a good job to keep him from getting that great low post position. Illinois State's done a nice job crashing those offensive boards.
Donish. This is Schnitker, guarded by Green. Moss still looking for that first field goal. Underneath. And out to Schnitker, who's off the mark for three, and the little guy, Vince Green, runs it down. He is little, but he is quick.
He is very fast with the basketball. I'm surprised Illinois State doesn't try to play a little faster, especially how quick he can get that thing blown down the court.
Arnold had a good look for the Redbirds, could not get it to fall. And the Sycamores have it with a 2-point lead. Adler draws the foul with some nice movement away from the ball.
Nice aggressive take by Adler. Great rear screen of Monty Donish. Adler flashes across that defensive man's face, finishes with that left hand.
He'll go to the free throw line. That's the third personal foul against Arnold for the Redbirds.
That becomes a big concern for Porter Mosier and the Illinois State Redbirds. Arnold's your best inside player, your best inside presence. He leads you in scoring, leads you in rebounding. Now early in the second half, a quick third foul will cause some rotation problems for them and probably pull him out of the game.
The Sycamore fans still on their feet. They'll stay on their feet until the Redbirds score their first basket of half number 2. Guidry thought about a three and instead sent it inside to Dilligard, who threw it off the Sycamores. And this is big. Burris into the game. Marcus Arnold, who, as Chris, as you pointed out, 9 and 5 in the first half, 9.5 rebounds. Arnold takes a breather with 3 fouls. Alexander for 3. Eric Gray, a big rebound.
The Redbirds continue to struggle shooting that basketball from the perimeter. Again, good defensive pressure, Indiana State. They pushed them out and kept them uncomfortable. Got to be a concern for Porter Mosier and the Redbirds here. They continue to struggle shooting that basketball.
And a couple of heady plays right there. Moss knocking it out to Tyson Schnitker, and then a great save by Tyson to Moss. The shot clock's at 5. Tyson, long three-pointer. And the Redbirds have it, still looking for their first points of half number 2. Guidry, open look for 3 in the tie. Burris the rebound.
Coach Moser settles his troops and gets a call in here to try to get that ball back on the block. Had success there in the first half. Want to try to get Dilligard here involved.
So the low-scoring game continues here. We're almost 3 minutes into the second half. The Sycamores with 1 free throw. And the Redbirds with nothing. It's a full timeout now, a full timeout for Indiana State, but we're going to stay here with the Sycamores leading 27-24 over the Redbirds. David Moss with 6 points to lead Indiana State so far.
6 points all from the free throw line.
That's right, our own Jeremiah Johnson standing by.
Well, thanks, Jason. David Moss had just 6 points in the first half, all those coming at the free throw line. Wednesday night, he only had 5 points. After the contest against Southern Illinois, Coach Wallman talked about David Moss being the subject of so much defensive pressure.
Well, he's going to be guarded like that every game, and I know people run at him, and I know people are riding him and holding him, but that's what happens if you're supposedly a good player. And he just got to do a better job of getting free. I mean, I usually defend him strongly, but he just didn't do a very good job of getting free. Now, in his defense, when he did get the ball in the post, they ran at 2 or 3 guys, and I mean, he's not going to be able to score in that situation. But
one of the things David talked about after the game on Wednesday was how much more difficult it was without Marcus Howard in the lineup. because David had to guard much tougher defensive assignments. So far, David getting into the flow of the game, playing good defense, but still yet to score a field goal in this contest, Jason.
Well, that's a good point as we look at Marcus Howard looking on. Howard, of course, missing his second straight game, started every game a year ago. Marcus Howard did, and now missing his second game in a row. So it is, Royce pointed it out, he normally is a staunch defender of David Moss. So some open comments from Royce about how Moss needing to do a better job despite the defensive pressure.
You know, Coach Waldman also obviously going after to challenge his best player, needing him to rise to the occasion and raise the level of his game as well. You know, and Jeremiah talked about the struggles without Marcus Howard. We talked about a little bit in the open. You miss your best defensive player, and all of a sudden now your whole half-court defensive philosophy changes.
And now a foul away from the ball against the Redbirds, who have gone over 3 minutes without scoring a single point. Of course, the Sycamores have only one free throw to show for it, but they do have the ball and a 3-point lead. Cottrell Green back into the game for Indiana State in white, replacing Amani Donish. Moss knocked to the turf. And now an intentional foul called against David Moss.
Coach Waltman is furious from that call. Understandably so. That's an interesting call at this point in the game.
90 feet from the hoop.
Exactly.
Moss, not a little bit frustrated, very frustrated after he got knocked down, threw the ball away, or had his pass intercepted. But that is something you rarely see called, is the intentional foul, especially, as I mentioned, 90 feet from the hoop. As Greg Alexander knocks down both free throws. He's a 75% free throw shooter. As Royce Waltman sees the Redbirds, that was the interception. And then afterwards, Moss called for an intentional foul.
Boy, not really sure where that intentional foul came from. I think Moss had legitimate concern. He got ran right out of bounds by his defensive man and knocked down.
Burris to Alexander. The Redbirds can take the lead with a basket here. Free throw line jumper for Burris. It's good, and the Redbirds grab a 28-27 lead after a bizarre intentional foul call against David Moss, who's still looking for his first field goal.
But, you know, that might be exactly what David Moss needs to get his nose bloody a little bit here and try to get after playing a little more physical, a little more aggressive.
Eric Gray against Guidry, fading away on the baseline. He's just a flat-out scorer.
He's fearless. He is absolutely fearless. Tough, hard-nosed kiss from Chicago. He's done that in the playground a billion times.
He's got 5. That's what he had against Southern Illinois the other night in his first start of the season. Najib Eccles couldn't get it to go. Burris, the rebound, gets fouled, but he couldn't get it to go. The Sycamores have held Eccles in check, but Chris Burris came in averaging 6 points on the season, doing a very nice job for the Redbirds.
He's one of those out-of-position players at 6'5". You don't appear that he gets a lot done, but playing that small forward spot, he's very athletic, quick leaper, so he gets his hands to the ball very quick and able to make some plays. Illinois State's done a nice job as they continue to pound that block and get that ball down there on that low block, and they're starting to get a little success down there at times. They've pounded the offensive boards and made some plays.
Jared Adler gets a breather. Amani Donish back into the game. It'll be interesting to see when Porter Moser goes to Marcus Arnold, who's got 3 fouls, but is certainly the go-to guy, offensively speaking, for the Redbirds, who have...
At Tabco Business Forums, we're growing to meet your needs.
Here in the second half, that is. He's got 6. for the Redbirds, who have taken a 1-point lead. Boy, the field goal shooting, Chris, for both teams. You know, the Sycamores can't be happy with 40% from the field until they look at Illinois State, who's shooting 31%.
You look, Coach Porter Moser's got to be pleased. He's up one on the road, and he's only shooting 32%. You got to feel good about that.
And he's got Marcus Arnold on the bench.
Exactly. His best player and best scorer rebounder sitting on the bench here most of the second half. He's got the lead.
Eric Gray was begging for the ball, fading away, a little bit short on the jumper, but Moss kept it alive, tapped it, and now Gray for three. Burris the rebound.
You got to like the hard-nosed effort, Eric Gray, just a freshman, trying to make some things happen out there.
Eccles getting loose but could not convert, and then Burris took a couple of steps, but Eccles really struggling from the field. He's got good position a couple of times and not been able to convert what appear to be easy shots.
You know, but it's difficult for a transfer, Jason, who he's been sitting for a whole complete year. He just started being eligible here to play on December 13th. That's just 3 weeks ago, a little over 3 weeks ago. He doesn't have much game experience in, and it's a whole lot different in the practice floor as opposed to when the lights come on in the game gym.
Donish with good position, although Eccles commits the foul away from the ball. Already the fourth team foul against the Redbirds. No shortage of tweetage tonight from the referees. The whistle is blowing, and it's blowing on a regular basis.
It's interesting. They're letting them play, letting them be physical, but they're calling a lot of hand checks, and that's difficult for guys to settle in and get comfortable.
Dyson Schnitker, an open look, buries it, and the Sycamores lead by 2. Got the feet set, smooth-looking stroke.
Tyson leads the Missouri Valley in three-point field goal shooting. 54% is all.
And now Cottrell, a 1-on-none. Quick 5-0 run for Indiana State. Porter Moser says calm down to his guys, and the crowd is back in it. Alexander inside to Burris, who can't convert. Moss, it's a 3-on-3, and David does the wise thing.
Illinois State's getting the ball exactly where they want it. They just can't convert these easy chippies.
Trudeau for three. Russell Trudeau. And the freshman getting it done. Timeout, Illinois State. Tyson Schnitker a three. Cottrell Green a steal and a jam. And then Russell Trudeau a three-pointer, and the Sycamores have taken control. Want to remind you that our next ISU women's basketball broadcast, Sunday, January 18th, scheduled, Evansville against Indiana State. The ISU women with two very important home games coming up. Friday night at home, and then again Sunday at home against the Evansville Aces. What a stretch there for the Sycamores.
But tell you, that's a book on Indiana State, Jason. They're second in this league in three-point shooting. They're going to just keep hanging around and getting those shots up. Illinois State has relaxed defensive pressure last couple of possessions. Schnitker buries one. Trudeau buries one. All of a sudden, you got a little run put together. Great backdoor cut, Alexander. They've hurt Indiana State on several possessions with that. You want defensive pressure on the perimeter, but you can't give up that backdoor cut as well.
And, and that's an instance, where Illinois State called a timeout and made the most out of the timeout. Not only did it stop the run for the Sycamores, but whatever they drew up during the timeout certainly worked, and boom, they've got at least put an end to the Sycamores' run.
They've relied on that double high post set kind of a 1-4 high look, and both posts flash to that elbow area, and all of a sudden that opens that whole backdoor cut up. They've had some success on several possessions making that work. Tell you what though, Jason, now is an important stretch here for Indiana State.
Trudeau again for three. Donish with the great position. Underneath, Amani Donish with 8 points despite the injured ribs, and the Sycamores lead by 7 again.
Big time play on the offensive board. Great low post move. Super finish.
Another backdoor. Neil Plank draws the blocking foul against Amani Donish, who wanted the charge.
Indiana State has left that back door open. Illinois State is taking advantage of that, especially the last two possessions. Amani's about a half second late, sliding over there in that defensive rotation to get position. And now some concern for Coach Waltman. That's Amani's third foul.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking with some of the Illinois State people prior to the game, and one of the things they talked about was porous free throw shooting by the Redbirds. They say they would have won at Illinois if they had knocked down their free throws, and they would have beaten Creighton at home if they had knocked down their free throws. Neil Plank missed that one, but prior to that, the Redbirds have been doing a great job from the free throw line at 87%.
Free throws is one of those stats where you hate to raise concern in a practice situation because the last thing you want is to create more pressure at that spot.
I always remember those Syracuse teams of Jim Boeheim that could never, ever shoot free throws no matter what they did. They practiced it. They did what you said. They didn't practice it. They talked about it. They didn't talk about it. And nothing would work for Boeheim's team. But, of course, about 100 years later, he finally wins the big one.
But now you see after that timeout, Illinois State has a renewed energy level on defensive end. More pressure on the perimeter again. They can't give up any more three-point baskets.
And now Marcus Arnold as well is back into the game with 3 fouls. Also has 9 points and 5 rebounds. The go-to guy for this Illinois State team. Bert Antoine. Timeout, Illinois State. You'd have thought it would have been at least close to a 5-second violation, but this is a 30-second timeout for Illinois State.
Important consideration here for Coach Waltman and his troops. Obviously, the last several possessions, Illinois State, with their renewed defensive intensity and ball pressure, have caused problems for Indiana State getting comfortable in some type of offensive set.
Can you spell snarky? That only begins to describe NBC's new reality series, The Apprentice, starring the Donald himself, business tycoon Donald Trump. Takes 16 bright, ambitious candidates who will do just about anything to win the right to be Trump's sole business apprentice. What happens when someone falls asleep on the job? Join the Jet Set at 8 p.m., 7 Central in America's newest hit series as Trump alone decides each week which go-getter will get up and go. That's Wednesdays on News Channel 2, and I'm telling you, you have got to see how rude and crude Donald Trump is to some of those people who are trying to become his apprentice. But I guess, as you mentioned earlier, hey, the guy's, whatever he's done, it's worked.
He's been getting it done for a long time, and it's not because he's a real nice guy.
Foul called against Wilfred Antoine. And now we're going to take a timeout. 10:57 left. The Sycamores leading 39-33.
You don't do nothing. You don't want to do. Ain't nothing funny about you. Keep it real and do what you feel. Yeah. You gotta eat rally.
Here's a burger you don't see every day. Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents. That's Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents.
You gotta eat rally.
What makes a college the right fit for you?
For me, it's classrooms without walls.
A chance to have an impact on their lives. nationally recognized degree programs.
A place to explore your future with professors that want to help you get there.
Majors for a high-tech world.
Learning from those who teach Indiana's best. Scholarships and financial aid to help you pay for it.
I'm more than a note taker. I'm writing my own flight plan.
Indiana State. Log on and see how it fits you.
Terre Haute Kia is your zero down, yes, your approved dealer in the Wabash Valley. The all-new Kia Sedona LX comes equipped with dual side door impact beams and 7-passenger seating for only $229 a month. Or for luxury without the price tag, test drive a new Optima, now $189 per month. Terre Haute Kia has $40 million to loan. Call our credit hotline at 234-4831. With every new Kia comes a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper, and 5-year unlimited roadside assistance. Proof credit, yes, you're approved. Terre Haute Kia, US 41 South and Spring Hill Road.
We are back. Indiana State leading Illinois State 39-33. Take 10 points off of each team, and you have a shocker in the NFL. Carolina 29, St. Louis 23. The Rams are out.
Carolina getting a huge road win in a difficult place to play, especially in the playoffs. Rams come into that game with a 15-game home winning streak.
And end their season with a serious thud, losing at Detroit and then at home in the playoffs. Home teams this weekend in the playoffs are 43-9, and immediately Carolina comes in and starts the playoff weekend with a win. Of course, the Colts tomorrow visiting the Kansas City Chiefs, so hopefully the road wins will continue. Trey Guidry for 3, couldn't get it to go. News Channel 2, by the way, will be in Kansas City with the Colts, and we'll have a complete recap for you tomorrow night at 6 and 11. All kinds of high school basketball on the schedule tonight and earlier today. We'll check out the boys and the girls stuff tonight at 11 o'clock. David Moss thought about a 3 instead, gets it to Wilford Antoine, and Greg Alexander has the rebound. The Redbirds, this team is 7 for 22 from the field tonight, Chris Theobald. How did this team come inches away from winning at Illinois? I'm just not seeing that team tonight.
2 for 10 this half, 0 for 3 from behind the three-point line. A miserable, dismal 20% from the field this half, and only down 6.
Personal foul committed against the Sycamores. Cottrell Green called for the foul. His second, 15 here in the second half. We're under 10 minutes left. The Sycamores with back-to-back losses to albeit very good teams, Bradley in Peoria and Southern Illinois here at the Holman Center, trying to end that skid before they go on the road to take on two other pretty good teams, I think you'd have to say, in buildings that are very tough to win. And Wichita, by the way, has a brand new building this year, so the Sycamores will see that next weekend as Marcus Arnold scores for the first time in the second half. Wichita State playing well at home, as you would suspect whenever you open up a new arena.
Sure, and like you talked about, a difficult Thursday, Saturday road swing for these guys. Praying for a split in that road trip.
Moss, at long last, has that elusive first field goal. And the Sycamores, more importantly, have a 6-point lead.
I'll tell you what, if you're Porter Moser, you couldn't have asked Alexander to defend Moss any better on that possession than he did. Moss just a big-time take, big-time finish. That's why he's in the running for that Player of the Year slot.
Alexander. This is Kyle Flowers. What's amazing is that Trey Guidry has 3 points. This is Guidry gliding into the lane. He lost it. Arnold has to turn, shoot, and airball it. And the Sycamores defensively continue to do a marvelous job against the Redbirds offensively. Trey Guidry, 15 points a game, has just 3 tonight.
They did a nice job keeping him off balance. He's had to try to crate off the dribble, and that's just not his game.
Some token pressure by the Redbirds, but the Sycamores get it across. and trailed, or lead, I should say, 41-35. Trudeau, who's played very well tonight. Garrett Adler scores, and he got fouled.
A one-dribble take from the three-point line by a 6'9" post player. Coach Waldman's hair must have fallen out when he saw the ball go on the floor. But a great take and a great finish. Jared Adler, a lot of hustle, a lot of spirit, a lot of energy, getting it done for the Sycamores.
Adler has become a regular when it comes to playing time, and he has made the most of it. Indiana State creating some breathing room, leading 44-35 with under 8 to go.
The best All-Star restaurant in the Valley is in Linton, Indiana at Stowe's Country Inn. Stowe's Country Inn has all your favorite menu items, plus lunch and dinner buffets from 11 to close, with a breakfast buffet on Friday and Saturday at 7. On Wednesdays, kids under 12 eat free, and all seniors receive 10% off for lunch Monday through Friday. Stowe's offers catering with banquet rooms to meet any need. And don't forget Seafood Fridays. With fresh baked breads, cakes, pies, and cinnamon rolls, there's no reason why you shouldn't
make that itty-bitty fly.
Stowe's Country Inn.
Respect. Are you up for the challenge? Fairness.
Are you up for the challenge?
Courage.
Are you up for the challenge?
Honor.
Are you up for the challenge?
The Missouri Valley Conference, student athletes, coaches, and administrators are committed to the ideals of good sportsmanship and fair play for all participants and officials, no matter what the outcome in athletic competition is.
Are you up for the challenge?
You don't do nothing. You don't wanna do. Ain't nothing funny about you.
Keep it real and do what you feel. You gotta eat Rally.
Here's a burger you don't see every day. Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents. That's Rally's Mushroom Swiss Burger, just 99 cents.
You gotta eat Rally.
What an effort by Indiana State. The Sycamores trailed at one point 30-29 and have since gone on a 15-5 run. Adler a big three-point play. Trudeau a three. Tyson Schnitker a three. Cottrell Green a steal and a lay-in / dunk.
Moss a big-time take on the block. Everybody's involved.
Guidry could not corral the pass, and again Adler doing his part this time defensively.
But tell you what, Jason, it's a very important time here for Indiana State. They're under 8 minutes left. You're at home. You're up 9. Now it's important to stay solid, keep attacking, and put this team away. You can't let them leak back into this thing here in the next couple minutes and create a serious problem for you as the game finishes up.
Adler faked the three. Tyson Schnitker to Cottrell Green. Long two. Cannot get the roll. Guidry the rebound. The Redbirds coming off two emotional, draining losses at Illinois in overtime when they led by 7 in the waning moments and lost the game in overtime, and then a 1-point home court loss to Creighton. And tonight they have, quite frankly, with all due respect, not resembled the team that played in those two games. Guidry a long three, and he got it. Trey Guidry with 6, and the Redbirds are within 6.
Again, we talked about that, staying solid and not letting it back in. Doesn't take long when you got a guy like Guidry that can bury a three on the spot. It's still very important here, too, on the offensive end to keep attacking and keep trying to create situations for Moss to score.
Moss with the shot clock at 6. Adler for 3, and he got fouled. If ever there was a bailout, that was it.
And the Redbirds coach, Porter Mosier, aged about 30 years on that call. Tough situation for the Redbirds. Big three by Guidry gets them within 6. Tough defensive possession. Shot clock's winding down, and you bail out Jared Adler on a three-point shot.
Adler's a 55% free throw shooter. Misses the first two, and so now the Redbirds are going to kind of get away with something that is quite inexcusable. 1 for 3 for Adler, so they get something out of it, and it's a 7-point lead, 45-38. Our next men's broadcast is January 25th, the Sycamores at Southern Illinois to take on those high-flying Salukis. Purdue with a nice win today at Illinois.
Great road win for Gene Cady against Bruce Weber.
What is wrong with the Hoosiers?
I think it's a combination of a lot of problems. You've got inexperienced players, and you've got a pro, and they're not blending together very well. The pro meaning Bracy Wright.
Because he's had a rough go of it. Had that huge game at North Texas, but ever since then, boy, struggled against Temple, struggled against Wisconsin.
But India has the same problem Indiana State has. They've got a great player and their leading scorer, and all of a sudden now, every time they're on the floor, someone's gunning to take him out of the game. You've got inexperienced players around him that don't have the ability or haven't found a way to step up and make some plays and help out in that scoring department. Since then, they've struggled. Big time they've struggled.
David Moss with a nice take. He draws the foul, and now Moss, who's averaging right at about 16 points a game, goes to the free throw line. I mentioned earlier an 84% free throw shooter. And we talked about the fact that he didn't score in double figures. Royce talked about how he had to do a better job of fighting through the defense. He still did match a career high with 3 steals against Southern Illinois on Wednesday night.
Important stretch here too defensively. Illinois State's still going to try to get some backdoor cuts, and they're going to pound that thing on the block.
Marcus Arnold. Here come the Redbirds.
Like we talked about, they're going to pound that thing on the block. Arnold gets in the game and make the Omans work out of that play.
He's a 55% free throw shooter, 6'8" sophomore from Chicago. Redbirds said before this game that about 5-6 games ago. And now we've got a lane violation against Trey Guidry for Illinois State, so the free throw won't count. I started to say that the Redbirds said before this game, about 5 or 6 games ago, it just became apparent that this wasn't Trey Guidry's team, this is Marcus Arnold's team. As we look at a very unhappy Illinois State head coach, Porter Moser. You mentioned that he was a pretty good player at Creighton. Moser was, for Tony Baroni, one of the Italian stallions.
Tony Baroni won a couple league championships back in the Valley in '89 and '90.
Was Gallagher one of those guys?
Gallagher, I think a guy named Mike Amos was on that team as well. Big post player. And then Porter Moser is one of those tough 2 guards, hard-nosed, fight you in a second.
Redbirds trailing by 6. Great position to Arnold. Easy 2. And now Illinois State is within 4 at 46-42.
We talked about that. Illinois State's going to continue to pound that thing on the block. Being able to control Arnold here the last several minutes is going to be very, very important. But now on the offensive end, Indiana State can't forget to keep attacking.
And from this point on, we're going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line. That's what happens when they blow the toot at every available instance. Not that the Sycamores are complaining right now, as the Redbirds commit their 9th team foul. David Moss will go to the free throw line with a chance to add to the 4-point lead.
Indiana State substitution, number 23, Lonnie Donnix.
David's finding ways to score, getting himself to that free throw line.
He certainly looked very fluid from the free throw line tonight as Royce Waltman looks on. Wilfred Antoine replacing Eric Gray. It's an interesting lineup right now for the Sycamores. They have both Tyson Schnitker and Wilfred Antoine on the floor at the same time.
Well, I think they did that to create some ball pressure on Guidry. Wilfred Antoine's got some quickness. He can get in and defend Guidry. You certainly don't want to give up a long three at this stage of the game.
Moss gets it done from the free throw line. Now Guidry for three, and he is on. A couple of three-pointers now late in the game for Trey Guidry, and it's a 3-point Sycamore lead. They led by 9 not too long ago.
Just the things a few minutes ago we talked about Indiana State not wanting Illinois State to get in a groove and has happened. They pounded that thing on the block, had success. Now Guidry is finding that range at that three-point line. He's lit him up a couple times here, and this is now a ball game again.
Moss on the baseline. Cottrell, shot clock at 2. Burris the steal. The Redbirds have it. It is a one-possession game. Alexander got free. Wow, it's a good thing he didn't make the backdoor cut because that would have been an easy 2.
Indiana State's going to pull this thing out and stay patient. I wonder where they're going to go with the basketball here. Any ideas?
Marcus Arnold has certainly helped their cause. Alexander for the tie. Just off the mark, and a couple of different Redbirds. Burris and Arnold had a shot. We're going to take another timeout. Indiana State clinging to a 3-point lead.
There's a new vanilla in town. Introducing Pepsi Vanilla. The perfect blend of cola and vanilla. That's not so vanilla.
How about a little Pepsi? Pick up the new 8-ounce cans available now.
This is the Creighton game. They're used to these close games. Hopefully they're out of energy for this contest against the Sycamores, Jason.
That is a great point, Jeremiah, because, boy, 2 down-to-the-wire games for Illinois State took every bit of energy they had, but certainly they have done a great job and do a great job there defensively as they force a timeout for the Sycamores, but Indiana State held a 44-35 lead with under 8 to go, and the Redbirds have come back. Our next broadcast for the men, Indiana State against Southern Illinois. That is Sunday afternoon, January 25th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's not a lot going on that Sunday. That's the Sunday in between the conference title games and the Super Bowl when it comes to football. So what better day to talk about and show you folks the Indiana State Sycamores on the road in a very hostile environment. We've run into some buzzsaws down there.
That's not been a lot of fun as of late playing down there.
No, and at least we're not alone. They've done it to a lot of people.
I tell you, Matt Painter's done a heck of a job, the first-year head coach on there. So Illinois took over Bruce Weber, who went to now Illinois, and Matt's done a great job with that program. They're getting after it just like they did last year. Yeah, we talked about Indiana State has to keep attacking on offense. They got to find ways to score.
Blocking foul called against Greg Alexander. He didn't like it. Porter Moser didn't like it. But that was the call. And that's going to be the 10th foul against the Redbirds. So 2 shots for the Sycamores this time and from here on out whenever they get fouled.
Okay, great job, David Moss, just finding ways to contribute here. They're not letting him get a shot off, so he just puts the ball on the floor, creates some space, draws a foul, goes to free throw. And best part about this, too, is great players figure out that when you go to the free throw line late in the game, you get to rest a little bit, too.
Well, he knocks down the first one. Moss, 10 for 12 from the free throw line. 10 for 13 now from the free throw line. 1 for 5 from the field, but he's in double figures with 12 points. 4-point Sycamore lead. Arnold backing in over Donish. Not only misses the shot, but then commits the foul. That's going to be his 4th.
Monty Donish does a terrific job here defensively. Number one, he's got Arnold pushed out on the block away from the basket, at least a step or 2 off the block, so as Arnold catches it, he's not in a position to drop step and score. And then, great position on the board, kept him off and goes after it and gets it. 2 back-to-back great defensive plays on Monty Donish.
Well, let's go ahead and show you folks the keys to victory. These are some of the things we talked about before the game that would be very important for Indiana State. Number 1, improved bench scoring, and I think they've gotten that tonight as they've gotten some nice points from Cottrell Green, Eric Gray with 5 points off the bench. They've done that. David Moss leading the way with 12 points and rebounding. When it comes to that, it's been kind of a close battle at the boards. How would you assess the Illinois State keys to victory as we take a peek?
Well, I'll tell you what, defending motion have done a pretty good job with that. They're 4 down with 2 minutes left to play. They've done a pretty decent job taking away the 3 up till a few minutes ago. But, rebounding, that's where they've really excelled. They've got 11 offensive rebounds in this game. That's been a difference maker. They've really pounded inside and done a great job keeping that thing up on the glass on the offensive board.
Donish almost got the kind roll from a not-so-pretty-looking free throw attempt. Can't say enough for his play tonight, though. Missed the Southern Illinois game with injured ribs, wearing a protective padding around his ribs. Moss tried to keep it alive. It's out of bounds to Indiana State. The ball bounces their way that time.
A nice spot to get a break here with 2:39 left. You're up 4 with the ball now. New shot clock. You want to wear some time down here, but at the same time, you still got to try to look to score. Indiana State spreads the floor here well. They got that 4-out motion trying to isolate around Amani Donish.
Long 2 for Cottrell. Nothing but net for Green, and the lead is 6 now for ISU. Timeout, Illinois State.
Great offensive possession, Indiana State. Great patience, spread the floor, good ball movement, big-time shot. Burst in that low post, and they cannot give Guidry any looks on the perimeter.
Moss guarding Guidry. DeBurris into the lane, draws the foul, but could not get it to go. Another fortunate bounce for Indiana State.
Burris been getting it done the whole night. Just can't get that one to fall.
And Burris has had a very nice effort off the bench. A 78% free throw shooter is Burris. This one has been close throughout. The biggest lead for Indiana State, 44-35. The Redbirds have never led by more than 4.
Porter Moser with a defensive substitution. Get Dillard in the game for some rebounding and
nice job by Burris hitting the free throws. 4-point game, under 2 to go. You got to think for as much as humanly possible, the ball will be in the hands of David Moss. This is Trudeau. Moss on the baseline. Nice look to Donish for an easy 2. Good things happen when the ball is in his hands.
David does a great job recognizing that double team that comes over. Amani Donish man leads the double team. Moss finds him. Nice finish.
Alexander has the answer.
And just that quick, it's still a 4-point game.
We don't need to make this any more exciting than it has to be. This is close enough. Shot clock at 20, as you can tell on your screen right now. Moss against Alexander. So many different Sycamores have contributed offensively. This is Schnitker. To Donish, shot clock at 5. Vince Green a steal. He's going to run it. Green. Alexander for 3. Just off the mark. Is that a hair too fast, or do you definitely take that shot?
I think that's a good shot attempt. You have to score regardless. That was a great look. Alexander's a good three-point shooter. Green does a great job getting the ball down the floor, blowing it down. He spotted up. You got to take that shot.
Well, that's a good point. Alexander, there's no question about it, can shoot the basketball. And now David Moss will go to the free throw line. He's made his living there tonight. And that continues. 11th free throw made for Moss. Make it 12. Amani Donish, the rebound, and he gets fouled. Couple of back-to-back defensive stands for the Sycamores, who appear to be putting the finishing touches on conference win number 2. And so timeout right now is called. Or excuse me, not a timeout. Trey Guidry is fouled out, and so the Redbirds are kind of like Bradley did last Saturday night, using the allotted time to their advantage. It looked like a timeout, both teams running over to their coaches for the last-minute instruction, but instead, Trey Guidry fouls out. He hit some big shots in the second half to help get the Redbirds back in it.
Yes, he did. A credit to him. He's been coming in. He came into the game, their second leading scorer, a little over 15 points a game. They rely on him to make those shots because that frees up room underneath for the likes of Arnold Meckles.
Donish hits the first free throw. If we had the Rolex watch player of the night, this guy might be leaving with a watch. Moss with a rejection, and he saved it, or came close to saving it. And the fat lady could be warming up. 56-49, ISU leading by 7. About to erase what were 2 tough losses a year ago to Illinois State. Crushed at home and losing a tough one in Normal, as the Sycamores commit the foul. Cottrell Green committed the foul. That's going to send Burris to the free throw line, but what an effort for the Sycamores. So many guys, I've already mentioned it, but so many guys stepping up. Cottrell Green with a really big, long 2-point shot late in the game. And of course, what can you say about Amani Donish and David Moss and their scoring?
Both guys have really gotten it done, especially Amani Donish coming in with that injury, playing with pain. Great spark at the beginning of the game to get this team out of the gate. And now some big boards and big defensive stops and a couple big offensive plays here the last several minutes to ice this thing.
Moss the rebound, and that is going to do it.
Now through January 3rd, every brand new GM car, truck, van, and